Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And this will be my last video of the day. I've been up since 2:30 in the morning to do the live stream that I did last night, your time. And it's now 6 p.m. my time, but I've got to be up at 2:30 a.m. in the morning to be speaking to Marius Barnard for the live stream tonight, your time. I know the time zones are horrific. All you have to know is 8 p.m. tonight, Johannesburg time. I will be live with Marius Barnard, who has a business in Pretoria, and he is doing lots of wonderful things to help people in impoverished positions. So we totally support that. Okay, now let's get back to this message. Now, look, I get so many emails from people, and I'm very happy to put these up, and I'll always say unsubstantiated, like I am with this one, because there are so many of these coming from different people in different parts of South Africa, and they seem to have a lot of background information that it does look like there is a cover-up going on when it comes to COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Okay, now the message reads, "Hi Scott, please use Piglet as my name, not my real name." You got it. Confidentiality is always guaranteed on this channel. Okay guys, you can send me videos, you can send me photos, you can send me whatever you like. I'll cop it. There are certain political parties out there and certain media organizations out there that call me fake news because I put up reports which I say are unsubstantiated, and they turn out to be fake news. But these organizations like political parties and mainstream media forget to say that he said it's unsubstantiated. But you know what? 90% of the time when I put up these reports, they are accurate. Now, the whole reason I put them up is to alert my community, my subscribers, to what is going on in South Africa right here, right now. Because the real fake news is the mainstream media, including the South African mainstream media. And that's why I'm willing to cop a couple of body blows, boom, boom, boom. Who cares? The fact is that I am presenting the information that my subscribers send me, and when it's not substantiated, I make that very clear. So this is unsubstantiated, but worthy of mention because it involves the coronavirus. Okay, let's get back to the message. "Hi Scott, please use Piglet as my name. It's not my real name." Yeah, I got that. Your name is so different, it's incredible. It reminds me of that book Animal Farm, but anyway. "Last Friday, early in the morning, I received a WhatsApp voice note on my family group that there is a patient with COVID-19 virus in George Hospital, and that person is transferred to Tygerberg Hospital. As I reside in George, this came to me as a shock. I shared it with some of my local pals on WhatsApp, trying to validate the voice note. The doctors and nursing staff both denied it. Then the shit hit the fan, and via our local newspaper's website, on Facebook, on our local radio station, the voice note validity was completely denied. As the weekend moved along, we read that a patient that was transferred to TB Hospital and tested negative for the COVID-19 virus was pretending that she had the symptoms just to get free treatment. One of my local pals let me know that the rumor was true directly from the nurses after the above statement was made. So am I correct in saying if there is a COVID-19 patient admitted, they are covering it up? Just imagine if this covering up and hush-hush is happening all over South Africa. Well, one good thing from that wretched voice note, everybody in George woke up and went into a frenzy to buy all the masks and hand sanitizers in town. Lucky for me, when this virus made the headlines, I ordered me and hubby's masks. I also see very few people prepping, buying non-perishable goods, etc., and that is worrying. However, the humans and dogs of this house are prepped because we are 55 plus and I have a weakened system due to chronic illness, and hubby is prone to lung illness, pneumonia, etc. Please, please urge people to wake up and smell the roses. The supermarkets in town have huge specials on rice, sugar, oil, canned products, Dettol, Savlon, etc., but nobody is stocking up. Am I stupid to be prepared to stay at home and ride out the storm? Thank you for your useful videos. I appreciate it. One thing you can start looking at it, by the way, the government is using our hard-earned pension money to bail out Eskom and other sinking ships. Well, we are covering that particular point. But your message about prepping is why I'm putting this video up. Look, I'm not going to validify or say that that's correct, but look, guys, the coronavirus is in town, okay? And it's a nasty little animal. Although it doesn't actually live, it's not actually living. It's a virus. It's so tiny. But what it does is it actually kills people, and especially those with low immune systems, i.e. those with TB and HIV/AIDS. And I put a video up earlier this evening on the 2020 Loving Life channel, which you can watch, which covers this extensively and talks about what's happening in Italy. Look, there's absolutely no question in my mind that the coronavirus is in South Africa. It's in hiding, but it'll appear very soon, and when it does, it's going to be catastrophic. So I am once again appealing to my subscribers. Please, guys. All right, some of these reports that we're getting right now are BS. I accept that. But if you look what's happening around the world, look at Italy, look at Iran, look at France, look at the UK, look at the US, look at South Korea, look at Japan. It's spreading. Look at even Australia. It's going all over the world. It's in South Africa. South Africa is going to be no different. Let me explain to you how coronavirus actually spreads through the community. Okay, you have a guy who comes from one of the infected areas, let's say Iran, flies into South Africa on a plane. He's got the virus and he's infectious, and he's breathing out the air on the plane for, 8-10 hours. Other people on the plane, guess what? Through the air system, they pick up the virus. Anyway, he gets off. He's asymptomatic, which means he's showing no symptoms of the virus. And he goes off home, and a few days later, all of a sudden, he's getting this dry cough, and he's not feeling really well, and he thinks this is not great. So he goes to the doctor. The doctor has a look, and he coughs all over the doctor, and the doctor gets the virus. And in the meantime, he's probably met 30, 40, 50 of his friends, and he's coughed all over them, and they've picked up the virus. That's called a cluster. Because what's happened is that you've got a group of people in a little area around this person who's not been diagnosed with the coronavirus, who've now become infected. So what happens with that initial little group who've been infected? They show no symptoms, and it can take up to 25 days to show symptoms of the coronavirus. But after about 5 or 6 days, you are infectious. So if you do this with your lips and you shake hands with someone and they take that hand and they touch their lips, the virus is on their hands, and guess what they've got? The coronavirus. The transmission of the coronavirus happens by two ways, and I've said this so many times in the videos. Firstly, through the air, in little droplets apparently. So if someone coughs, they spray these tiny little droplets that contain the coronavirus, and people in the immediate vicinity, if they breathe in that droplet, they got it. And the other way is, let's say you're on a train and someone with the coronavirus coughs on their hand, and then they put their hand on the pole to keep themselves steady, and then they get off the train, another person comes in and puts their hand on the pole in exactly the same position. Oh, wow. Talk about bad luck. And they put their hand, and it's quite normal for people to touch their mouths, their nose, and their eyes with their fingers and their hands. It's normal human thing. They get the virus. And when that happens, it's called a transmission of the virus which has no overseas link. In other words, these are people who've actually caught the infection locally through someone else who's actually been using either the same device, or they've coughed on them or something like that. So it's a local transmission of the virus, not something that's come in from overseas. Huge difference between the two, because when it's local, it means that it's a cluster. You've got groups of people who are infected, and they can infect a huge number of people around them. It's like a pyramid system. If you think of a pyramid, okay, you've got one block right at the top. He infects 3 or 4 people. They infect 20 people. They infect 80 people, and so it goes on and on and on and on and on. That's what coronavirus is all about. And that's what the South African government, right at the top, do not understand, or they have no interest in the welfare of the South African people. Because believe me, when this virus gets into the townships of South Africa, it's going to be absolute disaster. I put up a video earlier today about how people with TB and HIV/AIDS are just, it's almost like cannon fodder to this virus, because they are very, very susceptible, and they've got a very high chance of dying. Yeah, I said the word, dying. This virus is deadly. And yet the South African government is acting as if it's a flu virus, which it's not. Any doctor with half a brain who understands viruses, and I'm very happy to get any doctor to debate Philippe on the subject. He's our resident expert, our medical expert. He will tell you why the coronavirus is so different, and why the governments around the world are treating this virus so differently to the flu virus. Guys, look, this stuff that this person wrote might be totally hocus pocus. I don't care. The fact is, the coronavirus is in South Africa. And in every country that the coronavirus has come to, including first world countries like Italy, the UK, United States of America, it has spread. And the spread has come through what we call clusters. And I've explained what clusters are. South Africa has the coronavirus. Remember, it takes 14 to 25 days for it to actually present itself with the symptoms within a person who's been infected. We know that in Pietermaritzburg, several people have now shown up with the coronavirus after the first person came up with the coronavirus only early March. It's only a few days ago. This is how it has worked all over the world. The virus in South Africa is spreading. I don't care what people say. I don't care how people call me fake news and that I'm causing, people to panic. I'm not. I'm just delivering the facts. And if you have a look at the video I put on 2020, Loving Life 2020 today, about how it's impacted Italy And in there you can actually listen to this professor, the Italian professor, talking about the importance of quarantining. And South Africa don't do that. And they've got the virus in the country. It is quite extraordinary. And when I say quarantining, I mean anybody who comes overseas from a particular country like China or Iran or Italy. Remember, the guys who brought the coronavirus into South Africa came from Italy, the area where the coronavirus was identified only a couple of weeks ago. That's how quickly it can spread. You can call me whatever you like, guys. I don't care. My subscribers know that this channel has been talking about this subject for close on 2 months now. It's getting close to 2 months. Very, very early on. I have read so much about this subject. I feel like a friggin' doctor. And I'm telling you right now that the South African government and the public health system are not doing the right thing. Cyril Ramaphosa's statement earlier today, which again is another video I've posted, that people can still fly into South Africa. We're not going to restrict people coming into South Africa because there's not much of the coronavirus here, is absolutely ridiculous. Look at first world countries like the USA, just about anyone, Australia. They're all restricting flights from countries that have outbreaks of the coronavirus because they understand one simple fact, and that is that people who are infected with the virus might show absolutely no symptoms of having the virus. They come through customs, their temperature's fine, and they go through. A couple of days later, bang. Now it starts spreading because they are starting to infect other people. That's why in countries like the USA, Australia, New Zealand, etc., 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 people who come into the country have to spend 14 days in isolation so they can be checked out. But the South African health system is in such a complete chaotic status, it could never cope with something like that. So when the coronavirus breaks out in the first township and you hear about it, just remember, the Loving Life channel was the first one to predict the obvious because we know the situation and it's happened everywhere else in the world. Why should South Africa magically be something different? It isn't. And when those townships start breaking out with thousands of cases of coronavirus and people with TB and HIV/AIDS, which means they've got a lower immune deficiency, their chances of being killed by this virus are heightened dramatically. As I've said several times now, it's almost like a message from God directed to the ANC government saying, the hand of God is now saying to you guys, you heathens, you ANC heathens are now going to die. You've been attacking God's children for long enough. It's time for retribution. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates, please. Like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe.